Today, I will talk about a miracle, which is invisible to your eye. Today, we are at the molecular level. Our examinations so far have shown that the evolution theory is in a serious depth at the molecular level. Evolutionists have shed no light on the formation of both amino acids and proteins. However, these are only the beginning. Beyond them, the extremely complex structure of the cell leads another dead end for the theory. The reason for this is that the cell is not just a mixture of amino acid structured proteins, but rather it is the most complex system man has ever seen. Let's examine the developments in genetics in more details. While evolutionists were having such trouble with these topics, developments in genetics produced new problems for the theory. DNA was discovered in 1953 by James Watson and Francis Crick. The amazingly complex structure of DNA launched a new age in biology. DNA is made up of 1 meter long 2 strings, and these strings are wrapped each other and packed in the cell nucleus, which is just 1/1,000,000th of a meter long. Imagine that you are holding a 1 meter long thread and try to minimize it in 1/1,000,000th of a meter long. Can you do that? I don't think so. DNA is found in each cell in our bodies, and it contains the complete blueprint for the human body. This information is recorded in DNA within the sequence of 4 special bases, known as A, T, G, C, according to the initial letters of their names. All the structural differences among people depend on variations in the sequence of these 4 special letters. This is sort of a language composed of these letters. The order of these letters in DNA determine features such as height, eye, hair, and skin color, and also the 206 bones and 600 muscles, and also the 1,000 trillion connections between the neurons in the brain and the whole human body. Let's give an example, but in another place. If we were to write down the information coded in DNA, then we would have to collect a giant library consist of 900 volumes of 500 pages each. But it is so amazing that the information in this enormous library would hold has already been encoded inside DNA. Let's turn back to examine DNA. At this point, there is an important detail that deserves attention. An error in the sequence of the nucleotides can make the gene completely useless. When it is considered that there are thousands of genes in a human body, it becomes clearer how impossible it is for the millions of nucleotides making up these genes in the right sequence by chance. The evolutionist biologist Frank Salisbury comments on this impossibility. A medium protein might include about 300 amino acids. The DNA gene controlling this would have about 1,000 nucleotides in its chain. Since there are 4 kinds of nucleotides in a DNA chain, one consisting of 1,000 links could exist in 41,000 forms. Using a little algebra, we can see that 41,000 equals to 10 to the power of 600. 10 multiplied by itself 600 times gives the figure 1 followed by 600 zeros. This number is completely beyond our comprehension. As we know that 1 with 12 zeros indicates a trillion. But imagine, 1 with 600 zeros. It's an inconceivable number. A very interesting paradox emerges at this point. While DNA can only replicate with the help of special proteins that we call them enzymes, the synthesis of these proteins can only be realized by the information encoded inside the DNA. As they both depend on each other, either they have to exist at the same time for replication, or one of them has to be created before the other. In short, the theory of evolution is unable to prove any of the evolutionary stages that were claimed to be occurred. Rather than giving answers to such questions, Scientific discoveries made the theory more complex and inexplicable. Interestingly enough, most evolutionists believe in these unscientific fairy tales as if they were true, because they have conditioned themselves not to accept creation. One famous biologist from Australia, Michael Denton, discusses the subject in his book, Evolution, a Theory in Crisis. To the skeptic, the proposition that the genetic programs of higher organisms, consisting of something close to 1,000 million bits of information, equivalent to the sequence of letters in a small library of 1,000 volumes, containing in encoded form countless thousands of intricate algorithms, controlling, specifying, and ordering the growth and development of billions and billions of cells into the form of a complex organism, were composed by a purely random process is simply an effort to reason. But to the Darwinist, the idea is accepted without a ripple of doubt. The paradigm takes precedence. Someone looking without prejudice can easily see the evidence of creation in every detail of macro and micro world. We are told of these in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 255. Allah, there is no God but He, the living, the self-subsisting, eternal. No slumber can seize Him, nor sleep. His are all things in the heavens and on earth. Who is there can intercede in His presence except as He permitteth? He knoweth what before, or after, or behind them. Nor shall they compass all of His knowledge, except as He willeth. His throne doth extend over the heavens and the earth, and He feeleth no fatigue in guarding and preserving them. For He is the Most High, the Supreme in glory.